In the world of transaction services, experience makes all the difference. It's knowing the markets, knowing the buyers, knowing the value, and knowing the strategies to implement that will be most effective. And it's that experience that we put into play every day for our clients, because we know experience ultimately defines a success story.
Ideal Supply is a privately owned wholesale distributor of automotive aftermarket parts and electrical and industrial supplies.
You can date the origin of Ideal Supply back to 1926, but it wasn't until 1968 when our father, John McDonald Sr., purchased 50% of the company from our grandfather, Earl Forrest, and a year later acquired the remaining 50%, becoming sole owner.
From there, the company continued its growth. In 2006, we realized sales in excess of $100 million for the first time, and today we have a significant geographic footprint with 31 branch locations throughout central and southwestern Ontario.
Following the same guiding principles that were important to my father and grandfather, this laid the foundation for us to build something bigger and something that we could be really proud of.
And they did just that. Today, Ideal Supply is one of the largest independent wholesale electrical and automotive parts distributors in North America and have expanded their business to include industrial supplies. They have exceeded revenues of $150 million and are a respected leader by both distributors and customers. In 2014, they achieved platinum status as Canada's 50 best managed companies.
But with that growth, there comes a new evolution, new responsibilities. We were now a company with many different stakeholders that included more than just my family.
With so many stakeholders involved, we felt a considerable responsibility to our customers, our suppliers, and our employees, and the communities that we operated in, such that the succession of the business had to be approached cautiously and carefully. So in 2013, my brother and sister and I met to develop a strategic plan for the business that was designed to achieve specific corporate goals, but also to position the business favorably for a potential sale.
After several years of executing against our strategic plan, we brought in MNP to assist us in preparing for the succession of the business. We had previously worked with the firm doing extensive tax planning with John Durlin, and the firm itself had a highly respected succession and corporate finance team.
Succession takes on many different forms. It's not always about selling the business today. It's about having a plan in place and maximizing the value of your business. So when the time is right for everyone, you know you are getting the best value possible, the best value for everything you have built. For Ideal Supply, that was our primary strategy.
We quickly started seeing the results from our focused strategy, and we're building momentum and market share.
2 years ahead of schedule, the important decisions around the business succession was right in front of us.
When we became involved, the business was trending towards its P217 goals, and our focus was determining whether or not the timing was right for the shareholders to sell, and if the market would be supportive of a transaction that would meet their expectations. We did our due diligence, and even though we recommended a fairly high threshold price that was a high yardstick for us to meet, we were more than confident in our evaluation and knew that we could get the best value for Ideal Supply.
What made this transaction more unique was that we had supplier partners in this business that we had to look out for because they had a say in who we would ultimately sell the business to. This would ensure continued contracts and previous deal structures which were essential to the established value of our business.
Because of the complexity of the transaction, we had the foresight to know that if we were going to get the best value for Ideal Supply, this would not be a one-buyer process. Ideal Supply wasn't just an electrical distributor, it wasn't just an automotive parts distributor, they were both, and equally successful at both.
Throughout all of this, there were a lot of parties involved with so many opinions and different stakes in the transaction. Where Stephen really stood out was ensuring everyone felt heard and that their concerns were addressed.
There were a lot of challenges with this transaction, but with the solutions and negotiations that Stephen and his team facilitated, I truly believe that it further drove the value of Ideal Supply.
I don't even think Above and Beyond describes what the MNP CF team delivered throughout this transaction. While everything else was going on, they were developing solutions to preserve the price, but also address risk concerns of the purchaser, and to negotiate in such a way that my siblings and I were not assuming additional risk and exposure.
As well, when it became clear that one of our company's key suppliers would not consent to the transfer of their distribution agreement and provided an impossible deadline to deal with it, Stephen and his team stepped up together with our legal counsel and negotiated a parallel sale of the distribution agreement so that we were able to monetize this asset and limit the restrictions of a non-competition agreement.
But the end result, it all paid off.
Did it ever? I remember when we were very interested in the first offer we had received, but Stephen was confident. Then the second offer came. Finally, an outside buyer was brought forward that shared very similar goals and values and offered a significantly superior offer.
For me, MNP constantly delivered above and beyond throughout this whole process. I know their knowledge and expertise resulted in top value for our business, but it was more than just that, and I cannot stress this enough. A transaction of this size is stressful, and you don't know what the end result will be. But Stephen's understanding and ongoing communication always made us feel well informed and rest assured that everything would work out.
And it did, beyond all of our expectations.
Experience makes all the difference.